think business has a huge opportunity to really grapple with the issues that are right in front of us in terms of climate change, how we treat people, how we pay people, all of the things that are within our control.
2 or 3 values that I look for in a leader, and the things that I really respect as a young person, is people that are okay with saying that didn't work. We're in a time of change at the moment, climate, economically, socially, how we do things. And I think the people that I really respect are the ones who question things and who say, why is it like this? How can we change it? And really look for workarounds. Not the whingers that say, oh, it's like this and blah, blah, blah. The ones that are looking at it and saying, how can we actually make that better?
I ascribe to the idea that you write your values in pen and your strategies in pencil. And when considering the actions and accolades of my ancestors, I've had to go through and say, well, what was pencil for them and what was pen? Because essentially the core concepts that drive them are what are driving them and how they act in their everyday life. So the actions that we see that are written down in our histories, those are the pencil. How do we understand what the pen and the values are? Because those things transfer through generations.
Fundamentally reassessing who we are and reaffirming who we have been. We have this heritage of innovation here, but we don't see that as who we are. We think of ourselves as this place built on primary industries and built on many other kinds of things, but we don't really think of ourselves as a place of intellect and innovation. And I guess my assertion is that we always have been that, and we still are that, and we just need to make that more clearly a part of our future that drives us forward, because it actually can be an economic engine for us.
And I think that actually what we're seeing here is the beginning of thinking, because it's actually quite simple and powerful. It feels complex because there's lots of moving parts, but actually if you pare it back to what it really is, and you pare it back to the notion that actually we have to do the right thing, then it's actually quite a simple premise that you start from.
But I also really would like, in a couple of years, when we all realise that we can't eat money and that concrete floors don't grow food, the world turns around and looks back at us because we were the smart ones that realised that actually we can't hide behind ignorance anymore, and we actually did something. So I think that's what I would like to see us do. Be a role model, be a bit of a pioneer.
And so there's been a lot of talk in the regulatory space, particularly in councils who I work with a lot across the country, who are talking about soft landings, making sure that everyone feels comfortable about the transition to environmental sustainability. And I just don't believe that. And I don't believe it because I've lived it. And arguably some of my whānau who were farming around Lake Taupo now make more money than they did before the cap. Because what that crunch does, what that stretch does, is require you to innovate. And funnily enough, we're all very agile, clever people.
A motto which I sort of put out there often is, think globally, act locally. And then it was added on to today in one of the workshop was do personally. And that means I think that we can all take a responsibility to do something different. And alongside to build on Bruce's kōrero, we actually do need to, give of ourselves to the greater good and actually be responsible for what we do and act within our means to be different to what we have. And if we all do that, then I think we've got a really good shot at making a difference.
This is going to require the collective action of a community. So the opportunity to collaborate across the region to address some of these issues. I don't think this is a problem where it's possible to say, oh, I don't know what to do, I wish someone else would do something, I hope someone does something. I think this is actually something that requires real collective action.
If you're not embarrassed by what you're sharing it too late. You've polished this thing, there's no scope for changing it. If you think you're, making a new room on your house and you've put the wallpaper up, right, and then someone comes along and says, you should have had that wall 2 feet to the left and then you would have got more sun, and you're like, but the wallpaper's up, right? So you need to think about the value that you get by sharing things when it's scary, when it's early, when you're not really 100% sure how it's going to go, and then you can build something better because you can bring in all these other ideas and work together.
For me, connectivity is about, first and foremost, knowing who you are, being able to be who you are, and being able to involve others and invite other people to be part of that. But really it's about also being connected to your place and your space.
What's become evident in all of our conversations these last few days, and it's been really great to hear, is that everyone to a T agrees that the all-encompassing factor that we all need to service actually is the environment. You know, the soil, the water, the biodiversity is absolutely fundamental, first and foremost, for the survival of any business. If we really want to be the food basket and the high-value food centre of New Zealand, we have to service that, and we have to reorientate our systems to invest in that.
Have a certain mindset in our businesses that we haven't always had. I think it's actually a fairly recent thing, or at least since Industrial Revolution, in that we have a real fixation on growth. And so everything is about profit, growth, and there's a lot of self-interest in the way we do things. And until we can start changing that mindset and have an economy that's based on responsibility and care, then those things can start fall into place.